Brilliant. Still here at the Women of Leadership Summit, hosted by ACG New York. Now, one of the novel things that we have at the event is a marketplace where we have female-led businesses, be it startup or otherwise, all sorts of products, all sorts of industries that they serve that are showcased. And here we have Antonia, who has her own business.
I do.
You'll have to tell me about yourself and the business.
Yes.
And I've got a pllethoa of questions for you, but a little bit more about you, Antonia.
So I was first invited to come here actually to talk on the Femtech panel, which I just wrapped a minute ago. And because my first company is a company called Thinks, and it's a solutions company for women in the feminine care space. And we're the ones that opened up the period underwear product lines, for the world. And so myself and my co-founders started that. And I led the design of those products, and it was actually while I was walking to the far west side of the city to go to those headquarters, where we still are to this day. There's no train, there was no city bike then, and this is in New York City. And my feet were killing me, and I had 100 pairs of shoes. And I thought to myself, why do women's shoes suck so much? And so I started to think of, like I led the design of the underwear, how can I make women's shoes better? And so I tackled first the nice, beautiful silhouette of a pointed toe, flat and heel, and just developed technology and softness so that they look classic on the outside, but they feel like sneakers on the inside. So we're here exhibiting today our products, and I talked a little bit about it in the panel, and it was a swarm of women afterwards to where we were. But once you try the shoe, it is unlike any other shoe that a woman expects to feel that looks as beautiful as a typically
But let's go back a little bit more, if I could. You're a female entrepreneur, and there are so many of you out there, but did you always think, right, I want to start my own business or do something of my own? No? I
was so challenged of how I was going to fulfill my destiny. Why am I here on this earth? Like, what was I going to do? And I was raised to be a classical cellist.
Wow.
And so I started off with violin at 3, switched to cello at 9, went to every summer camp, toured with just all cello all day long, okay? I did my 10,000 hours by the time I was, 16. And then I realized after getting a scholarship to Northwestern University for music, I chose that school though because they had a great writing program, they had a great acting program, they had a great communications program, and I was like, okay, so if I don't keep with the cello, I could migrate into one of those. And I did get a degree in communications. I quit the degree for cello a year and a half in, much to the sadness of my cello teacher. And I had a career in public relations and advertising. I did the acting thing a little bit, and my heart was just not fulfilled. And I saw in the world that there were so many problems that needed solutions. And I think it goes back to when I was a kid. Growing up, my father would take me on these long hour drives to my cello lessons, and he was one of the chiefs of design at General Motors. And we would be driving in cars that his friends on teams had made, and I would see the clay models. And he would always be pointing out to me things with the car itself and also things that we would see. So he'd say, oh, Tony, look at the columns of that building and how it doesn't really support that roof. Or look at the back end of that car and how it makes those headlights look so beautiful and supported. And so I learned from him that good design can either really enrich your life, make it more beautiful and enjoyable, and also function well for you, or it can do the exact opposite. And so I just grew up with his vision, informing my own. And so I saw it first with women's underwear. Women's underwear was made to be beautiful and not have any function to it. And at the time, my co-founders and I talked about it, we're like, why is nobody talking about it? And the reason why is because it's a taboo topic. You have to break the taboo to really talk about it and then have the solution. And funny enough, if you look, the Polynesian word for taboo, it comes from tapwa, which means menstruation. That's literally the definition of tapwa. Yes, and that's where we get taboo from. So, had to break that. And so really good design, breaking taboos, talking about things in a different way, and providing solutions to the world, I found my calling.
So basically, who I'm talking to here is a true Renaissance person.
Thank you, Vic.
And it's a lovely
Thank you so
Economia
much.
story about your dad there as well. That's very nice. So we heard you on the Femtech panel. Can you talk to us a little bit about Femtech? And a lot of folks saying, well, what is that?
What is Femtech? Yeah, I mean, that space in particular is the feminine hygiene space, where it's like a period tracking app, how to, improve your fertility, like different companies that serve that space.
Right.
And when I was growing up as a 13-year-old girl, not knowing when I was going to get my period, it's a harrowing moment when you're in anticipation.
Yeah.
And my co-founders and I, we all had those stories of embarrassment and being caught in surprise that you just did not know when your period was coming. So that was really, our focus was creating a best-in-class period-proof underwear product. Some other women in the Femtech panel, they were talking about, tracking your natural ovulation cycles through their app and knowing better, how to be balanced in that way hormonally, and also, we really do have these.
Can I ask you a question though? Do you think?
Yes, and it's important. That Femtech space is very important, and finally, it's getting the attention it needs.
Do you think technology should invade some things so much?
It's interesting. I think there's a place for it.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for it, but it can't be your full focus.
Right.
There is a natural rhythm to things. I think that you should be guided by nature and helped a little bit by technology.
Right. Well, you were wonderful on the panel.
Thank
and
you.
And the augment was you've brought your products here to showcase.
Yes.
I, for one, would like to see what you have to showcase here, please. And I know you've got something here.
So this was, when I said that pointed toe style and the high heel, it's a 3.5-inch heel. These typically, when a woman wears them, just so you men do understand, unless you're a high heel lover. Are you a high heel lover, Vic?
I'm a married person. Whatever my wife likes, I like, basically.
So if a woman wears this, out of the house, she could probably make it up 2 blocks, and then she'll feel pain. Okay.
Normally.
Yes, absolutely. And so oftentimes a woman that wears a shoe like this, you see all of the news reporters wearing them, very high profile women out in the world, they're wearing high heels, but we know they're ushered from one place to the next and they're always gonna sit. They're not gonna be in them for very long. So I wanted to take this and I wanted to reclaim this style and make it where it was going to be comfortable again. So this system is called the soft surround system, so it literally surrounds your foot in cushion comfort. So the tops of your toes has a soft surround system, the back of the heel has anti-blister tabs, side cushioning for support, so it's all cushioned in the top. And with a pitch of a heel, you need that. You need something soft pushing you back in place.
Yeah.
And then the insert technology is part of the soft surround system, so like a deep heel cup for stability. Did you know that you have 3 arches in your foot?
I do now.
Okay, it's the transverse, medial, and lateral arches, but oftentimes only this one's addressed. So we address all 3. Recessed area for the big toe. You can so I consulted with a podiatric surgeon, Dr. Suzanne Levine, on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
Right.
And I said, okay, I've made this shoe in my mind before I first made it. I sketched it all out. And I was like, I know how I want it to perform, but what other things am I missing? And she helped me figure out, okay, she's done over 200,000 patient reviews in her career. She's done so many different foot surgeries. She's like, please add these other things to really make it for all the other women. So our first style was this. We have a pointed toe flat, a rounded toe flat's coming out, and then also a rounded toe block heel, which is awesome.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
And if someone wants to go out there and purchase, what would you tell them?
It is Antonia Saint, New York, ny.com. Just go online. And find us at events like this. It's so great to be here today.
No, fantastic.
At this event.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming. If you ever wanted to meet who is actualized, a person who is actualized, here you're looking at one. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much,
Thanks for your time. Cheers.